Alright, so I'm gonna have you look at my creepy eyes over here, but these are like a side profile view of an eye, right? I'm gonna show you a little bit of how a lash lift works. That way you have a little bit better of an understanding of the type of result that can happen. I think a lot of people kind of expect this. Let me draw one out. A lot of people kind of expect this very long, luscious, big lift when they get a lash lift, and that's just not true. Not everyone does. Some people, it might look like this, right? Some people, that might look like that. Some people, it might only come out like this. And then, you know, it just depends. And that has to do with your natural lashes, as well as where the longest length is on your lashes, your eye shape, the direction of growth, all that plays a factor. So if you have, you know, lashes pointing down like this, they're always going to fight that lash lift. So we can try and make it come out, but when your natural lashes are like this and we curl them up, you're still coming out downward. So rather than this, you might get it coming down and then up a bit, right? But you're still in the downward direction, right? So you might get a lift that looks like this, and you'll still have like a nice lift. It just won't be very dramatic, and sometimes that bothers people, that it's not super dramatic, but that's just how your natural lashes grow. So if they're growing downward and you curl it, you're only, you know, doing that, but it's still growing out downward, and then it's going to lift up. I hope that makes sense. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, and then if you had, let me find that color again. And then if you had lashes that kind of already curl up a little bit, right, and then we go and do a lash lift, then this might be more like that, right? Might be a little bit more of results depending on your lashes. If say you have lashes that are really long up here but then kind of short here, what can happen is if the lift is not done in a certain way, you will get, like, you know, maybe a nice lift here, and then all of a sudden it kind of dies down. So what we would do in that case is we would flip the rod, and then that way you get a little bit more lift up here, and then it kind of evens out a little bit more. Anyways, yeah, I hope that makes a little bit more sense. I don't know what I'm doing. So I wanted to show you, we have different rod types, or shields. They get called interchangeably because it kind of just depends. Like, some companies call it one thing and may call it another. Rods are in reference to the original perm rods. So if you've ever seen somebody or gotten a perm rod is going to be literally a rod, right? Same thing with a lash lift rod. Now, lash lifts have been around for a while. So a lash lift rod was very similar to like a hair perm rod. So you had literally, you know, a rod, right? And then the lash would just get flipped around it. You see that? Flipped around it. Now, with, you know, new technology and whatnot, we've figured out a way to make it a lot more natural looking. So there are rods that, if you were looking at a side profile, say this part is flush against your skin, We have rods that kind of make this teardrop look. We have rods that kind of come out and up and around. And we have some that are literally like half moon. And there, you know, there's different variations even within those, but typically these are like the most popular shapes that are available. So when we are applying your lash to the rod, we are adhering it to this part. So we're adhering it like this, adhering it like this. So you can already see with the purple, like what a difference of lash curls that makes, and there's different reasons for it. So we might pick one over the other depending on your lash length or your the direction of growth that your lashes are doing. There's a couple different, you know, reasons why we would do that, but that's what they look like. So I have quite a few in here that I use. So this one would be considered a hybrid. This is this one in the middle. We also have, you know, like these ones are more of that half moon shape over here. And then we have like these ones, which are more of that teardrop. So there's a couple different styles. Mine are stained from a lot of tinting, but they are clean. But yeah, you have different shapes. So hope that makes sense. But say we were going to do a lash lift on someone who had short, not necessarily that short, like medium length, but they all went downward. And then say this person has a little bit more of a natural curl to them. And then let's say this person maybe has like really short but curly lashes. And maybe this person has really long, but they're kind of wonky or something. So I go in, and with this first person, like I said, if your direction is already going downward or straight, your lash lift is going to have that same, you know, reaction. You could do more of like that half moon shape rod adhered to the skin, and then your natural lashes are gonna, go ahead and come out and over, but then it's gonna set differently. So if, like I said, if your lashes come downward, but you're putting a curly shape to it, they're gonna drop. So you may really only get kind of like that. That makes sense. So it may only be outward that way, right? With this person, if they have kind of straight lashes like this, maybe we put like the half moon, kind of, not necessarily half moon, but the one that kind of sticks out and then comes up, right? Kind of that shape. And then it'll come out how it naturally is, right? It's already coming out like that, and it's gonna come upwards. So you're gonna get a good lift that way. This person has really short lashes. And the thing with short lashes is either you are going to get a very short lift, well, because they're short, right? So if their lashes are like that, I hope this makes sense, but if their lashes are like this and you're using a small rod, you either have to like use a teardrop to bring this lash up, or if you use like the curled rod, right? Yes, it's gonna come up this way, but it can sometimes look shorter So it's kind of a dilemma when it comes to short lashes. But you know, make it work and just set expectations. Like, it may not be very dramatic of a result, but you know, it still works. So for this, I might use like a teardrop. And then when this comes up, it might do that. Yeah. Anyways, I tried to draw them for you, but I hope that makes sense. I know that, yeah, most people just kind of want this like very big lash line, you know, but it's just not for everyone. And when you've got shorter lashes, yeah, it can be a lot harder. With long lashes too, they are gonna probably hit somewhere around the brow bone. I mean, ideally not, but sometimes if they're like super long, you might have them kind of coming up. And we try and avoid that as best we can, but sometimes it can happen. But they should be kind of like dropping slightly. Let me know if you guys have any questions. But oh, and then the lower lash lift I was going to show you. The lower lash lift is basically the same as up here. We're just flipping it upside down, right? But these rods are specifically made for it. So you're going to basically have that one that kind of comes out and upward like this. You're going to have that, but flipped. And so that way they kind of naturally do that, right? Whereas like some people's might naturally kind of come up, out. They might go around. You might have two like hanging around each other. You know what I mean? So yeah, it just creates a nice even, you know, layer of your lashes. Hope that makes sense.